when I watched the movie, the thing that piqued most of my interest was during the will reading. They're doing it all wrong.
Well, thank you all for getting together like this. It isn't legally necessary, but I thought because you're all in town and some of you are leaving soon.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to gently request that you all stay in town until the investigation is completed.
Well, he's gently requesting, but I'm going to have to make that an order. No one move until we figure this all out.
What? Can we ask why? Has something changed?
No.
No, it hasn't changed, or no, we can't ask?
Mr. Stevens, you may continue.
Right. Well, the other reason I thought this gathering would be beneficial is because Harlan altered his will a week before he died. He sealed it. He asked me not to submit it to the courts for probate until after his death. So, if anyone is confused about anything, we're all together, we can talk. Although I don't imagine any of it is going to be that complicated. Harlan's assets included
The house.
the house, which he owned outright.
60 million.
Yes, 60 million in various cash accounts and investments. And of course, the real asset, sole ownership of Blood Like Wine, his publishing company. He also wrote up a statement when he was making the changes, and he wanted that read first. Dearest Linda, Walter, and Joni, some of you may be surprised by the choice I've made here. No pleasure was taken in the exclusion, and its purpose was not to sow greater discord in the family, quite the opposite. Please accept it with grace and without bitterness, but do accept it. It's for the best. Dad. Wow. Well, yeah, not too complex at all. This will be quick. I, Harlan Thrombey, being of sound mind and body and yada, 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 I hereby direct that all my assets, both liquid and otherwise, I leave in their entirety to Marta Cabrera. My entire ownership of Blood Like Wine Publishing, I leave in its entirety to Marta Cabrera. The copyright of its catalog, likewise, I leave in its entirety to Marta Cabrera.
What?
No. That's not.
No.
That's no. That can't be.
No.
Can I see that, please, Alan?
That's right.
Please.
This can't be legal.
It's right. He's been.
Oh my God.
He's been.
Aren't there safeguards? Tell us there's a mistake.
I don't know what to say. We're his family.
There's safeguards against this.
Right. Fine. Something. I think. Alan, listen. It's fine. He was on medication. A great deal of medication.
All right, more.
I mean, I don't know.
She's all Alan, you can take this piece of paper and shove it right up your ass and get out. And you cops, too. Out. Right now.
And Linda?
No, Richard, we need to talk. We need to fight this thing. We're not going anywhere. I said get out. We are the Thrombeys, goddammit. This is still our house.
Oh, sorry. Likewise, the house at 2 Dearborn Drive and all belongings therein I leave to Marta Cabrera.
And so the whole idea is for drama effect, right?
Of course.
So the biggest thing with a will is it's public knowledge.
Right.
So you put, like, you have a will, it goes through probate, everybody knows your business.
Yeah.
Like, same thing happened to Prince. Mm-hmm. Like, he had like $300 some odd million, and like everything of his estate was out there. But the folks that put things in trusts, you don't have to disclose it anywhere. So the moment I started looking at that, I'm scratching my head, I'm just like this doesn't make any sense. And then I started actually digging. And then I found some interesting numbers.
Yeah.
So I found out the movie takes place in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And so I looked up the probate tax rate in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. I think it's 16% for anything above $1 million.
Wow.
That's just a probate tax.
Yeah.
That's just what the state charges.
Yeah.
Then you have something called the estate tax, the federal estate tax. It can be up to 40% for anything over, it might be like $16 million.
Okay.
So, and then, again, that's why I had to see it again, because I'm like trying to map everything out. I was like, well, what was the estate worth? So, there are three things. There was the house, which there's no numbers there, but looking at it, I'll give it like 10 million. There was the cash and investments that were worth 60 million, and then they said the crown jewel was the publishing company with all the rights,
Right.
which I'm guessing you might be looking at 150, 200 million or something like that. Based on how they presented it, everything was in Thrombey's name, Harlan's name, everything, which means that when he passed away, all that stuff goes through probate. So the tax rates I just told you about, the 16% and the 40%, add those together and take whatever big chunk that is out of everything that he had. And that goes to the state and the government and the federal government.
Yeah.
So you get 44% of what's left over.
Wow. All because
it was in a will and not in a trust. Yes.
Wow.
That's an expensive lesson right there.
Absolutely.
So that intrigued me. So needless to say, I started using that as like a positioning thing to be like, hey, even the rich aren't getting it right in Knives Out.
Yeah. You see Knives Out, here's what they did wrong. Mm-hmm. Here's what cost them.
That's it. So it's been fun kind of digging through that and laying all that stuff out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Oh yeah, and the other thing too, it's not just the taxes. Everything gets held up through administration. So for example, the house, even with Harlan owning it, we got about 28 minutes, even with him owning it free and clear, which I found out, it still goes through probate.
Really?
Because it was in his name. His whole estate, anything in his name, gets in one estate, goes through probate. And probate, they essentially have to assess it all. Were there any creditors? Did he owe anybody anything? Because they get paid first.
Right.
And the heirs get essentially paid last. And obviously the state and federal government get paid first too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But,
so I need to get everything in trust. Mm-hmm.